Afternoon everyone. I've not done a video for a little while, so there's something that came up through the week on somebody's posts on Facebook, and it's been on my mind ever since, and it's niggling me, so I need to get it out before I forget it. So it's just a quick one, but it's a really important one for everybody that trains in colder weather and wants to put a t-shirt or like a neoprene coat on the dogs underneath the harness. Now, this might be different for other harnesses that are sized maybe slightly bigger and stuff, but it's a really important factor that I need to go through with our harness, because it could cause you big problems. And it might be something that's already causing people problems. Let's have a look. So it's to do with the t-shirt or whatever underneath, pushing the harness out. The harness is designed to be quite a close fitting harness. It's not too long on the chest. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's the exact dimensions it should be on the chest. And if it's any shorter than that, then you'll get problems. And I'll explain through that. So what happens if you put a t-shirt or another layer, anything at all, underneath this harness? Let's have a look. So you pad that out. You remember it's pushing it out here, it's pushing it out here, it's pushing it out here potentially, and that is all going to make a big difference. So what's going to happen, if it pushes out here, it's going to push it out like that. You won't get the same length. Same again if it pushes out here at the front, it's going to pull the harness forward. So instead of the harness potentially coming up over there, it's going to be coming more back here. You might get a bit of rub on that pressure point there. It's going to be more forward on the neck, so it's going to be less on the shoulders, which is not too bad thing if the neck's too big, but it shouldn't be. But one of the problem areas, and it's something people will get a problem with, is rub under here. Now, are you close enough forward, Gil? If our harness is on the dog right, it should be sitting round about there. So there's enough clearance here. When the dog's leg comes up and back, forward and back like that, when it's running, it's not rubbing on that part. We want it to be rubbing on this area here. Okay? It doesn't matter too much if it's overlapping there, but we definitely don't want it here. And the main reason we don't want it here is because of the extra width. It's too wide. So this bar on the front of the harness, underneath the chest, there would be a bit of room at each side. It wouldn't be as tight as that. This dog isn't as accurate as it would have been on a hound. So there would be a little bit of a gap either side. If we bring that forward, you can see where the problems are going to be. So you put anything underneath that, and that's going to pull that forward, and then you're going to have rub underneath there. So if you're complaining that your dog is rubbing under the armpit, and you're putting a vest on, you could actually be making it a lot worse because of that reason. So you need to look at that area there and make sure when that dog's leg is running back, it's not going to be rubbing on that part. Can you see that there, Gail? It's not going to be rubbing on that part, because if it's rubbing on that part, then it's potentially rubbing on that edge there, and that is defeating the whole purpose of having that chest padded all the way around. The reason why that chest is padded all the way around is so if the dog does rub on it, it's not rubbing on that edge. Okay? Now the edge isn't really terribly rough, for example, but over the mileage it's enough to be a niggle, and over the mileage, if it's curling in like that, then that is a rough edge. So going back to what I was talking about, the design of the chest is padded all the way around. If it does turn round, which it will do when the dogs are running and moving around, it will go like that. It will sit wherever it's going to naturally sit. If it does sit, it's padded all the way around. That's smooth, so it won't rub in there. If you put something underneath it, it's going to pull it forward. It's going to pull it forward, and it's going to rub on that bit. So, what do you do about that? So, can you see that there okay? So going back to here again, we'll just cover that just once more so you can see exactly what's happening. You put something underneath, harness comes forward, pressure on that pressure point there. Worst of all, it's going to be rubbing on that inside of the leg there, which is where a lot of people are going to complain about rub if they're going to get it, or here obviously. So what can we do to avoid that? The only real thing I think you can do, there's very little difference between sizes sometimes, especially if your dog is right between two sizes, you want to go up a size. If you're putting something under the dog to fill that front out, you're actually better just going up a size in harness. You might have 2 or 3 centimetres on length. You could be just half a centimetre or 1 centimetre on the neck, but it's definitely going to be more worthwhile. Your chest should be a little bit longer, depending what size it is. Some chests are the same. But definitely on the other measurements, it's going to be worthwhile you just going up that extra size. So if you're running in the cold and you need to put something underneath your harness, when it does get extra cold and you're going to put t-shirts on or jackets or whatever you're doing underneath the harness, think about going up that extra size, because you're going to have problems otherwise. The harness is not designed to be too big in any area. It's designed to fit perfectly in every single area. Okay, have a nice weekend!